Yo, what's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Um, I just want to go ahead and take this time to go ahead and reflect on the past year that I've had, and I know it's been a lot of hardships for everybody. You know, there's been a lot of losses, a lot of negative, a lot of things that we weren't expecting. But I like to do this usually in writing, but taking the time this year to go ahead and make a video out of it, and I encourage you guys to do the same. Something that sort of puts you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but it's something that I think is extremely beneficial. And it's just a reflection. It's just like you can kind of sit there and you can think about all the positives that have happened, not just the negatives that have happened. And so I had to go ahead and, make a list and talk about, the three things that I did this year that significantly made me better. Just as a person, as myself, finding my identity, finding what I like to do, trying new things, just getting out of my comfort zone to do stuff that no one really thinks, oh, I can do that, or why don't I just take that leap and make it happen? I traveled. And that's very controversial. Why would you be traveling during the pandemic? But it was half and half. Some of the stuff was for pleasure, some of the stuff was for work, business, formal type stuff. And it made me go back and think, like, where all have I been? And despite this being, a year, a very extremely controversial year, it's been the year that I have seen the most of the world, which is actually insane to think about. And so I started off the year um, in Taiwan. I went there for like 10 days. We did like a tour, it was for a study we did about the election and everything like that. We came back. I was in New York, I was in California, I was in Virginia for quarantine. I moved to Oklahoma, picked up and just left right after I graduated college. Um, I moved to my next duty station, which was in Oklahoma. That was a drive, so you had to pass through some states to get there. I saw a couple friends here and there. There was a lot of traveling in between, just seeing more of the world, sort of experiencing a little bit of like the difference of what I had going on versus what other people had going on, and also what it was able to do was like keep my mind sharp and understand, okay, what's going on with everybody else, what's going on with me, and how it's going to affect me in my position currently, and also how it's going to affect my future endeavors. The next thing I did was build relationships. So if you know me, personally, you can see I'm obviously like a very, outgoing guy now. I like to do things. I'm pretty adventurous, optimistic, and just, a fun guy to be around. But, I wasn't always like that. I used to be extremely shy, not really had like the quality, like the highest quality of friends, highest like track record of building solid relationships, stuff like that. And I was very, wishy-washy. But what this year did, this past year, it sort of made me find the most authentic version of myself. And what that did was attract all of the authentic, most quality relationships I had. And a lot of that came from my time in college, because it was a time where you're sort of just on your own. And you either develop your own identity and attract the people who relate most to that identity, or you don't. And it was nice to be able to get the results I wanted in terms of finding my identity, finding my most authentic self, and rolling with it. And now, I have the best friends. You know who you are. I have the best friends that anyone could ever ask for. The next thing I did in 2020, which was the biggest thing that was sort of uncomfortable for me, not because, uh, I am not ready to take steps like this, but because I'm very just go with the flow. I like to just vibe and just chill, and just mind my own business. I just be chilling most of the time. But I took the step into investing, and not just investing in in terms of money, but investing in terms of time, in terms of effort, in terms of I put my time, my effort, my money into stuff that I see is going to benefit me, my family, or whatever foundations I've developed um, for the future and beyond. The first step I took was, I guess, in terms of time. I spent the entire quarantine just training all the time, working out a lot, making sure I'm in great condition. For those of you who don't know, I did run Division I track my first 2 years in college, and after that, I sort of hit like a stump, and I stopped working out. I was extremely stressed out. I was extremely, anxious all the time. Classes were getting hard. My time at the academy was getting very stressful, and I had certain goals that would fit into my academic realm, but not my physical realm. So I wasn't in the best condition after that. But I ended up getting back and actually becoming in better condition than I was while running track, because I was less injured. I was less injury prone. I was doing workouts that targeted the areas that I needed to work out, not just the ones that targeted the events that I used to compete in. I started taking care of my body, getting more sleep, stuff like that. And I reaped in huge benefits. I started reading a lot more, reading different books, mainly about, social distress, more about society. I read a lot of news articles now. I read a lot of, for those of you who don't know, I also speak a second language. The second language I speak is Mandarin, so I do a lot of studying on stuff like that. I do a lot of international, relations readings, just to learn more about the world and learn more about our impact on the world. One thing I also invest in, money, yeah, of course. So I've started taking steps into investing, and it's sort of, that's the main thing that I've sort of been working on, and it's a little bit difficult because you can't just jump right into investing. Like, you can, yeah, but what you want to do is you want to have a decent foundation in terms of like research and stuff like that, what you want to do, and also like planning. Like, if you want this certain goal financially, this certain something, you have to sort of plan that out and then deliver. You can't just like deliver without having some sort of grip on what you want. And so I decided to start taking the income I was making and investing it in certain things. And, I'm gonna make a separate video explaining my beginner standpoint of investing, but I'll give you examples. I started doing, Bitcoin, started investing in the stock market. I started a Wealthfront account. I started, what else? Acorns account. And there's other side hustles and stuff that, I started looking into that I'm going to start doing more down the line once the pandemic stuff starts dying down. But they're just stuff that, everyone I think can do. Everyone can go out and do this and make money for themselves, build a foundation for themselves, their families, stuff like that. It's just a matter of just going out and doing it. And so the best advice that I've been given so far in 2020, which there's stuff that I just kind of take to heart and I really want to spread it, so that way, like, even if this goes to, 5 people watch this video right now, like, those 5 people can sort of listen to my experiences and take whatever they know and take whatever I told them, make their own opinion, make their own foundation, and just take off. Because that's what I want to do this year. My goal in 2021 is to take off. Like, we're not supposed to jinx 2021. Oh, 2021 is going to be my year. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But this year is going to be my year. And I am ready to take these steps. I'm doing things I've never done before. And I want to keep doing it because it's exciting. It feels great. It feels awesome to put myself in a position where I can just do what I want and be happy while doing it, and fantastic. So those pieces of advice for you. So everybody has their own path. It's basically like you have your own journey. You can choose what to do on your own journey. You don't have to wait and, for somebody to hand you something and something like that. Like, you just go do what you want. Do what makes you happy. Support yourself, do what makes you happy. If you have these certain dreams or aspects of life that you want to go and charge for, like, make that your endeavor, make that your goal, and just go make it happen. Because, like, anybody can do it. Anybody. Like, there's no limit to, like, what you can do, who can make you do it. Like, you gotta go and do it. I would be comparing myself, like, I'm 22 years old right now. I just turned 22 last month. And I would compare myself to other 22-year-olds. These athletes, super athletes, these rappers and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, they have so much money, like, all this stuff, like, and I'm just here. But I'm like, you know what? We each have our own path. That was the path they got. I got my path, but it's time for me to go ahead and make my path the way I want to make my path. And I'm seriously invested in making that. The next piece of advice I have is to just do what makes you happy. If you have a dream, follow it. The only regrets I ever have in life is not following the dreams that I have. And they can be, like, absurd. Like, I'm in the military right now, but I love animals. If one day I want to go and be a veterinarian, or I want to go be a zookeeper or something like that, like I'm just gonna make it happen. One of my goals I want to have after retiring is uh, doing international real estate and moving to Taiwan and opening a barber shop because I like to cut hair and I think it's a great idea. And maybe coaching basketball to kids there or something like that. Like, there are ideas that people are like, why would you want to do that? But like, it's fun stuff, it's stuff that I enjoy. Like, I would make it happen. Use your job, your current position right now to fund your dream. By that, I don't mean just fund in terms of finances. I mean use it in terms of your time, your effort. You have free time. And I was giving advice to my little brother the other day, like, watch whatever you want on YouTube. Do whatever you want in terms of YouTube. You know, you want to watch, like basketball highlight mixtapes, like watch them, but also watch some stuff that could have some utility to you in the future. So watch those mixtapes because you play basketball, you want to learn those moves, yeah, watch it. But if a video comes up about how to use certain widgets on your phone, make sure you watch that. You never know when you're going to need it. If a video comes up, how to drive the stick shift, you want to watch it, like watch it. It could be something of utility later, you never know. But make sure you're having fun, but also using your time to increase the utility and increase your ability to, make your dreams come true. Fuel it, fund it with time, effort, money, anything. Make connects and ask questions all the time. And I love this example because it just happened to me and it's a crazy story. It's not that crazy, but it's kind of funny. I went to a club in Dallas actually recently because I live like 2.5 hours from Dallas. And I was in the club and I'm just vibing. We just partying. I'm with my boys, I'm off the Henny, I'm destroyed, right? And I'm just in line getting another drink, having a blast. And I like turn to my left and I just see this guy and he's just chilling. He's like an older guy, so I'm like, kind of like a creep. What you doing in a club? And he just kind of looks at me and he's like, oh, hey, you having fun? Blah, blah, blah. I say, yeah, it's fun. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, good. I'm really happy to hear that. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. He's like, I own this place. So I'm like, oh, he owned the club that I was at. And it's a pretty popular club in Dallas. And he owned that club. And so I was like, hey, I didn't get his number or anything, but because we're drunk, like I'm not going to remember any of that stuff. But I did get advice from him right on the spot. I said, oh, you must have a lot of money then. And he was like, yeah, blah, blah. I said, well, how do I become a millionaire? And he just kind of laughed. And then he just pointed over to the left. He said, you see all those right there? And they were like 8 or 9 arcade games. I was like, yeah, like, what about it? He's like, I own every single one of those. And I was like, oh, like, okay. And he's like, that's how you become a millionaire. And I didn't really understand it right at first, but after thinking about it, it made me realize, like, he started with just one, made enough money to buy another one. He flipped it, made another, up until he had all those. Eventually, he had enough money to buy the club, to buy that space, turned it into a club, and those machines are still there. And he's making money off of them. Making money, having fun, doing what he enjoys, just little stuff that he enjoyed. He wanted to make a club, he made a club. He had enough money to do it. And so that was an interesting piece of advice that despite being drunk, I still remembered. And I thought it was awesome. Learn by doing. And I learned this actually in high school. My high school class, we went on a field trip to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And I'm pretty sure that's the motto of their school. It's like an engineering tech school in California. And their motto was learn by doing. And, I was already sort of a person that kind of did that all the time. But, like, hearing that over and over again made me confirm that that's how I need to do it. And I always found, people learn different ways. But my best way of learning is learning by doing it, like applying it to myself, making it happen, and now I'll never forget it. So even if I didn't, I may not have watched someone do it, and then just picked it up like that. But like me actually doing it makes me remember every single step, understand how it's done, and it makes me not only be able to learn it well, but also be able to teach it to others well. So I think that's an interesting place. I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for supporting me. I encourage all of you to like go and reflect on your past year, but reflect on the positives. Remember the negatives, but reflect and cherish the positive, because it could always be worse. We only hope for the best. We just want good vibes, positive energy, no negativity, nothing going into this new year. We want a clean slate for everyone. We want to be able to take steps to move to a better place, increase that foundation that we have, just do everything we need to do to get the results that we want. Try something new. Just do what you want. But yeah, thanks.